What I learned, what I came across, which really, stood out with me, was failure is a redirection. That was a beautiful perspective on failure. It's just like, if that's something that is not good for you, not meant for you, not meant for your highest good, you will be redirected, and it will come across to you as it is failure again. Then you just sit there and think to yourself, isn't this just a matter of perspective then?
So it was like this, there was this Buddhist monk who gave this example in, I read it somewhere, I can't remember the reference, but there's a person who's on a beach, and he's telling him, so he asks him about failure. He says, I fear failure. And he says, so you go into the ocean for the first time in your life, and the wave comes and knocks you down, and you are flat in the sand, and you have all the sand in your eyes and in your nose. What are you going to do? So that guy said, I'm going to stand up again. So he says, okay, so you have two options. You either stand again, or you just, you're gonna just die, because that you're going to be flat and you're not going to be able to breathe. So he says, of course, I'm going to stand up again. So he says, okay, so you stand up again. And again, the wave comes, and there's a larger wave this time, and it comes and it hits you. What are you going to do? So, it's the same repetition. And then eventually, he asks him the same question like 3 or 4 times. And eventually that guy turns around and says, I'm not scared anymore, because I know how to ride that wave. I know how to move forward with that wave. I know how to circumvent that wave, because I've understood that I'm not fearing that wave anymore. And that's exactly how our life is when we have to try something. We will fail a couple of times, but we do get the strength and the courage and the understanding of how to improve every time we do that. So it is a really incredible experience to move ourselves forward with. The waves will keep coming. And I think I really like that the waves will keep coming. And it's how I cultivate myself, how I cultivate my courage, how I cultivate my bravery, how I cultivate even a sense of humor somewhere. At some point, you just even have a sense of humor at the end of it. I mean, look at somebody like Walt Disney. He was removed from the job because he said that they told him that, he'll never be good enough. And he was removed from the job, and then he went into an animation studio, and the animation studio said, you're going to, you're just not good. And then he had to leave that as well. And then look at what he became. It's a household name across board everywhere. So did he at that point decide to give in to the reality of the situation? Somewhere there was belief in the power of his life, the belief in the conviction of the passion that you have for something. And he didn't allow that fear that we talked about earlier, where you're avoiding that projection. Yes, exactly. You're avoiding that, and that, overcomes even the motivation to succeed. So it depends on the balance and where you want to create that balance for yourself. Do you want it to be this way where this is overtaking you? Or do you want it to be where your motivation is overtaking you and you are allowing yourself? You're allowing yourself to ride the wave. You're allowing yourself to circumvent the tide, the ocean currents. You're enjoying it. I mean, anything could work out for you.
Well, there's something that, maybe you can shed some light on. So, you talked about fear of failure and how, why we might not want to, take a closer look at it. Some of the reasons, why one might not want to look at it is because, they are just holding on to the last straw, and in taking a closer look, it might shatter the illusion, and then that would just completely disintegrate them. And obviously, that would mean, and the biggest fear for everyone would mean that, they've lost so much hope that they just don't want to continue with whatever it is that they're doing in life. So to such people, what would be, your suggestion, to come out of that and coax them or urge them to look at failure as a feedback?
So Eva, it sounds harsh, but what I would say is, do the thing that you fear, and the death of fear is certain. That is, do the thing that you fear, and the death of that fear is certain. So sometimes if you're in a state like this, gentle cajoling is not going to work. You need somebody to come and shake you by the shoulders and say, get your act together. You need to do this. And you need somebody to be firm, compassionate, but firm, very firm with you to be able to do this if you are in a situation where you feel I cannot do this anymore. And Eva, this is a stage, where everyone feels that age plays a very important role over here. I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 48, I'm married, I have kids. I don't have the liberty to be adventurous and paint the canvas of my life. What is she talking about? People can think that too. But all I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying jump into this, adventure of life or something. All I'm saying is that there is a possibility to have it, if you want it, in a small way as well. And then that small way can become a bigger way, and it can be the way eventually. But start somewhere. You can't be cocooned in that shell of fear for the rest of your life because something probably didn't work out that way, or because it's completely unrelated to who you are today. We are all about re-experimenting, reorienting, revisiting, revalidating who we are. So who am I think that's a really good question that comes out of fear of failure. Who am I? Who do I want to be? What is it that I want my life to be? Do I want to be stuck in the situation that I am in now? Or would I like to expand my horizon, my potential, my abilities, and know that through everything that there is going to be definitely growth and inspiration coming into my life? And coming back to the elevated emotions, and really to hear Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he talks so much about that elevated emotions in our body creating a new personality for us, creating a new personal reality for us. And it is possible. That's what I would like to urge people who feel, no, it's too, I'm too entrenched in the family business and this can't happen and that can't happen. Anything can happen. Make it happen. Please make it happen.
I think that's what you said in the Core Believe video, isn't it? The question to ask: am I defending my limitations to death? I
Yeah,
think by
I'm
saying
choosing
this,
my limitations. If you choose your
right?
limitations, you're going to carry them to death with you.
Yeah.
So it's really important. It's really important. I also want to give the analogy of what you're carrying around if you're not doing this. Okay. So if I ask you, Eva, put your hand out and I want you to hold this for me, just hold it for me for a few minutes. You
Okay.
will, right?
Yeah.
I'll just say, Eva, don't put it down. It can't be put down. Just hold it in your hand for a few minutes. Now, around 10 minutes pass. It's starting to get a little bit heavy in your hand. And then you're going to say, okay, Payal, now what do you want me to do with it? And I'm going to say, just a few minutes more, just a couple of minutes more. And I go somewhere and it's probably been around another half an hour. What are you going to feel in your hand with this in your hand now?
Like, this is ridiculous. What am I supposed to do with this? This is just causing me a lot of discomfort. Pyle, where are you?
Very important word, discomfort. Okay, so that's after only 3 hours. Now supposing you can't find me, and because you're so loyal to me and I've told you can't put this down, you obviously know that there's a reason why I've told you can't put this down. And say 5 hours have passed and you have this in your hand, how are you going to feel?
Frustrated by now, I think.
Frustrated, right? There's going to be a heaviness in your hand. You can't use your hand for anything else. Am I right?
Yeah,
So
numbness.
discomfort, numbness, discomfort, heaviness, frustration. These are
Yeah,
all the emotions that
confusion.
you would feel. Confusion, yes,
Confusion.
absolutely. That's another good thing. So I would like to give this analogy for our mind and what we hold on to. My mind is this. This is my mind. Now, when I've continued to keep this, which is my belief, which is my
Mm.
fear in my mind, I've created discomfort, I've created uneasiness, I've created heaviness, I've created frustration, I've confusion. And I'm wondering, what do I do? Because I want to use my hand, right? So this is my mind, and this is the heaviness of the fear that I've got continuously in my mind. Is it possible for my mind to be used for anything else? Can I use my hand for anything else?
Yes, as long as the moment you let
Now,
go of.
now I
Yes.
can. When
Yeah,
when I've let go of this, now what is it? I've got the freedom of my hand. I can use my
correct.
hand to do what it is. I feel light. You feel the pressure off. You feel openness. You feel, oh my
Mm.
God, relief that I'm
Yeah.
able to do that. So that
Uh-huh.
I hope that this answers the question to those people who feel that they want to hold on to their fear. Because when you're doing this, you're not allowing yourself, you've closed your mind, you're not allowing yourself to move out of anything but this, the discomfort of this, the pain of this, the heaviness of this. But if I'm just going to open up my mind and say, okay, you know what, right now I'm going to use, forget this hand, I'm going to use another hand to even do this. Even then, you've opened up this space. So it's
Yeah.
there, but it's not there. It's there, but it's not there. You can have that in your mind as well, that it's there somewhere at the back of my mind, but it's not totally entirely in the front focus of my mind. It's there somewhere at the back, and I'll come to it when I'm ready to come to it. And I'm able to use this hand, my dominant hand, for whatever it is that I need to do. Use your dominant brain for what you need to do, your mind for what you need to do, and be free to do what you need to do. Holding this is not letting me, it's not allowing me to do anything. It's me just holding on to something that serves me no purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
That is brilliant, Payal. Thank you for that. And I hope that is helpful, to our viewers who are looking for answers, to navigate through, contrasting. We're not going to use the word difficult, contrasting life situations.
This modality is called Soul Temple. This does not have to do with any religion. Temple is, when I talk about soul, I'm talking about the divinity within us. So each of us has a soul. There's no denying that. That's a fact. The soul is divine. That is also an experience that most of us take our word from somebody, or we experience it for ourselves. So I can use the word temple is not in any religious context at all. It is just the divinity, and I'm respecting the divinity within me. So I can use to, based on, if you want to make it based on what you're comfortable with, it could be my soul's church, it could be my soul's gurudwara, it could be my soul's monastery. For people who don't believe in anything like this, it could be my soul's love. Okay. So it is a modality where I am basically respecting and accepting the divinity within me, no matter what that is. So what I do is I put my hands like this in the shape of like this, the fingers are touching. Yeah.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I'm going to say, so now today we're working on the fear of failure. So I will use
Right.
this specific statement. I would say, this fear of failure. Now
Mhm.
I'm using it for fear of failure. Again, this modality can be used across for anything. It can be used for any sort of pain, any sort of problem, any sort of issue. Okay. You can replace the word of fear of failure with anything that you feel is important to you. So this fear of failure is my soul's temple. Again, temple, you can reuse it and reshuffle it to whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. Then I'm going to say, my need for the fear of failure is my soul's temple. And then I'm going to say, my resistance to let go of this fear of failure is my soul's temple. And I'm going to say each of these statements 7 times. And then after repeating, so then we would have 21 statements. After repeating the 21 statements, there will be something that will come up for you. And you can then use those emotions, that pain, that feeling, that issue, that situation, and continue to repeat the statement again of, this is my soul's temple. So or whatever you're, rephrasing that to. The idea behind this is that I am accepting even my failure or my fear of failure as love. I am accepting, I'm being whole and accepting to that. Even if I have that, I still am accepting that as my divinity. So when you continue to do this and continue to, say this to yourself, there are various emotions that come about. There could be, you're overwhelmed, you're emotional, you want to cry, some other emotion comes up. Just go on saying these sentences. So I'll just repeat it again. This, and then whatever it is you want to fill it in with, is my soul's temple. So I will say that 7 times. The second statement, my need for the whatever it is, the pain, the problem, the issue, is my soul's temple. 7 times. Third statement, my resistance to let go of this pain, problem, issue is my soul's temple. After 21 statements, something will come up for you, something will open up for you, some word will come to you, some emotion will come to you. Take that forward again, do the 21 statements for that, and you will find a lot of shift within you when you do. So when I say these statements, they're very, very powerful. Please don't say them just because I need to say them 7 times. Really say it with, I'm trying to understand what I'm saying over here, and feeling that, and you will begin to feel the statements that and feel that I want to be able to accept even this part of me. I don't want to reject this part of me. I don't want to be fragmented anymore. I want to be
Right.
whole. I want to
Yeah.
accept me for everything that I am, and know that everything is love. Everything is a different degree of love within me, and I accept it all. And when you accept it all, it's surrendering to it all. When you surrender to it all, it just shifts, because you're not fighting it anymore. You're just resolving it, and in that resolution you're able to move forward. And that's the key thing that we want to be able to move forward and not be stuck.
All of these tools that we've, whatever we've covered so far in the series, from, how do we start the journey with introspection? When we introspect and we have, we find these inner struggles, and then those inner struggles lets us take a closer look of at ourselves, and then we see, what our core beliefs are. And then, then after that, we're like, okay, no, we need to love ourselves more. So we go and we love ourselves. And then we realize, okay, we need to, do how do we learn to accept everything around us,
Mm.
etc., etc. And now, failure, the tools are right here for all of us to make a difference in our own lives. So please go ahead and do watch those as well, just to get more tools into the toolkit, like we always like to say. And so with that, we will bring this to a close. Anything else you'd like to add, Payal?
No, I think I've added a lot for today.